Today we're putting together a pie box, and in our new bundle we actually include a cherry pie and a blueberry pie. There's actually no difference in the assembly, so if you're watching this for the cherry pie assembly, it's the same exact thing. We did make them two separate projects just to kind of keep it simple as far as the PDFs and the colors, the supply list and things of that nature. So again, if you're here and you're watching the cherry pie assembly, same exact thing except for the fact that, well, we're going to be using blue for blueberry instead of red for cherry. So yeah, this is part of a patriotic bundle, but of course, as I mentioned in the official group on Facebook, which you can join by following that URL or by doing a search for Dreaming Tree Group in your Facebook search, I'm pretty sure that this is going to come in handy for fall as well as Christmas, whether it be an apple pie, or I can totally see changing this to a nice orange color and making it a pumpkin pie. I should know that. But anyway, it's a very simple little project, and let's just jump right in here. This piece here is the actual base, or the bottom of the box, the container, so to speak. And we're going to put that together first. I've already pre-folded everything, and we're going to begin by applying glue to the tab at the tip here, the front corner of our pie. So let's do that. Just going to put a little bit of glue on the entire tab and then throw a little bit of glue on, and actually just spread that glue out to the very tip. And we'll take it and fold it over and just connect it to its neighboring piece, just making sure that we're getting the alignment spot on. And you can kind of just push it together like that, if it helps kind of get all that to make better contact. It's not going to ruin the piece at all. And I don't eat a lot of pie these days because my tummy is not a big fan of gluten, but come fall, I can tolerate a little bit of it. I just try not to eat it because it just kind of makes me feel off. I know that they have gluten-free crusts, and I'll do that, but no one's ever baked me a gluten-free pumpkin pie, so I don't get to eat that many. But that's how I maintain my girlish figure, so I'm gonna just avoid it whenever possible, and instead, I'll just make it out of paper and enjoy it that way. Okay, so I just put glue on one of the tabs of the back of the pie, and I'm connecting it to one of the sides here. Just make sure that you've got the alignment spot on. Give that a second to set. You can also kind of put that down on your surface and press down on that tab to speed up the drying process a bit. And that just leaves one more tab. You're gonna kind of have to pull this out a tad, but as long as that last tab that we glued is nice and set, shouldn't have to worry about anything pulling apart. I'm going to spread that glue out nice and thin, tuck it behind this side, and just line that up nicely and press it together. There we go. And I don't know if you can, but I have a little fan over here that's blowing on me. It's very quiet. Hopefully it's not too loud in the mic. It's 90 degrees out, and I've got about 1,000 watts of lights hitting me right now, so I got to try to stay cool. I used to do this, but without the fan, and sometimes I'd feel like I was going to pass out. Okay, so this is our container. We do have this little liner piece, just a regular little triangle that we're going to put on the bottom of this, just to kind of reinforce it a little bit, make it stronger. Okay, so I just throw a little bit of glue in there, pop this right in, and just lay it down flat. And there we go. Okay, so that's the bottom. And you can see here that off camera, before I started, I put the cherry pie together. And you can see how the little crusty, weavy thingies, again, you can tell that I'm a pie aficionado. I know all the proper terminology. Yeah, this thing up here. The pie crust, the little basket weave pie crust thing, you can see that there's a little bit of dimension to it. It's not completely flat, so It just kind of makes it look a little more lifelike. You can see how the final result looks. So we'll get to that in a second here. So our base is done. Let's put together the top of this, and that actually goes together the same exact way. Now you'll notice that I did hit this with a little bit of ink. Now most of these areas will be covered up by the crust, but I wasn't exactly sure where, so I just inked the whole thing. It's good practice. Okay, so just like we did with the bottom of the box, we're gonna glue this section together first. Okay, and I'm gonna connect this like so, get it nice and aligned. And again, I'm pressing down nice and flat there. It's not gonna ruin it, and it'll speed things up for us. Okay, just give that a moment to set, and then we'll head on to the back and get those two in place, just like we did with the base. Nothing different here. Boy, that fan really is helping a lot. So hopefully it's quiet. Okay, and we're gonna tuck that behind this side, get that lined up, and just press that into place. And it's pretty cool how Diana and Ron put this, well, Diana engineered this as far as the little basket weave thing on top of the pie. It goes together very easily. Everything's just kind of connected, and you just have to interweave things, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so we're gonna pop that underneath again, get that lined up, and press that together. This should go pretty quick. I'll try not to blab too much. Oh, and the nail salon finally opened up. My first actual manicure in, geez, probably 3 months. So that was exciting. That felt kind of normal, thank goodness. Okay, all right, so this is the top. And first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna begin by taking these two pieces, okay, and we're gonna make sure that we do this correctly. This little piece here, okay, it's gonna go like this. Okay, so obviously the little section that has this tab, this is the front of this side. This is the back. And I'm just gonna make sure that I'm doing that right, yep. And then the back of this one has this tiny little piece. So that's how you know that the right side, that's the back of the right side. So we're gonna connect these two sections here using this tab here. Okay, and you can see that I've also inked this crust portion of the pie with a little bit of tan. And we actually used, this is AC Latte, that is the color, the American Crafts color, the exact color for the pie crust that we used. Okay, and I can just do this flat. So I just connected these two, and I'm just squeezing it while it's flat. It's a lot easier than trying to just do this. You can do it this way too, not a problem. But when I do it this way, I can see that I've got it nice and lined up because these two sections line up nicely here. Okay, so that's that. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue just one side, one at a time here. I'm gonna start with this side here. And the most important thing here, and actually I'm already seeing a little problem here, I didn't get enough glue in that little area there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a scrap piece of paper and just clean that up real quick. I want that to look nice and crisp. Okay, I'm just hold that for a second, make sure that that sets nicely for me. There we go. Okay, so again, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that the little basket weave elements are on the flat side here, not on this side. We don't want to glue it like this, okay? Because then we can't put anything in there. So this has got to be like this, okay? And before we do that, remember how I mentioned that we had a little bit of dimension on the basket weave elements. So all you want to do is just take a dowel. Actually, I think that dowel is too thick. I'm going to use a thinner dowel, and I'm just going to just kind of train this a little bit with the dowel, just to kind of make it a little more round instead of just completely flat. There we go. Very subtle, not a lot. You don't need to go crazy with that. You can see how instead of being straight, they're kind of, you know, kind of curved, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so anyway, back to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a side. It doesn't really matter which side. And I'm going to put glue around the perimeter here. Just want to make sure that I get it all the way out to the edge. And then just a little bit in the center. And I'm going to spread that glue out. I need a little more here. I'm going to spread that out. Okay. And I'm going to take this, just making sure that the little tip there is aligned with the tip of the actual box. And you want to make sure that the bottom of this is nice and flush with the bottom of the box as well. And just kind of push that into place around the perimeter especially. Kind of like you're making a pie crust, because we are. So use your finger to kind of pinch here at the bottom, making sure that that's all making good contact, and then of course right on the front as well as the top. And I think maybe I didn't get enough glue on there, but it does help to also use your table. Just kind of makes it all more consistent. And hopefully that's going to stick. If you need to, you can also grab a dowel to really push down in that corner there, right at the edge where that score mark is, and there we go. Okay, so now we'll unfold that a little bit and get our glue on the other side, and just work that glue around the perimeter, and a little bit on the inside. I'm going to spread that glue out to the very edges. That should work. And then we just close it up. Again, just make sure that the bottom of this tan piece is nice and flush with the bottom of the blue piece. Okay, and then we can put that down on our surface and press down. Again, if you've got a dowel handy, use that to really apply some more direct pressure in those areas. If you have a smaller dowel, you can really get right up to the very corner there, the tip of the pie. And there we go. Okay, so there's that. And now this may seem like complicated, but it's not. So before we actually glue everything, let's do the weaving. Okay, so this piece here, this is going to be on top. This one here is going to be under this a little bit, and then it's going to go over this piece. Okay, let me make sure that I'm doing this right. Yep. And then we're going to take this piece, and that's going to go over that piece. Okay, and then this piece here has got to go over that piece, but it's going to go under this piece. And then this section here needs to go under there. Okay, so there's our weave. Just take a look at the photo of the project, or actually, if you want, you can just pause this and, you know, just keep weaving it until it looks how I have it. And then all we need to do is we're just going to put a little bit of glue right at the very edge of each of these little sections. Okay, and we're going to fold this over right up to the very edge of the pie crust here on this side. Just make sure it's nice and lined up with that edge. And just hold that in place for a moment while it sets. There we go. And just kind of going to move down the line here. And I'm going to peel this back slightly and gently. Throw a little bit of glue right on the very edge of this. Don't need to put it anywhere else because we do want to have a little bit of dimension on this. And I just took my finger there and kind of smoothed it out a bit. And then just do your best to align that with the very edge of the crust on the side there. And hold that down for a moment while it sets. And then we'll move over here. And then we'll do that one and this one and so on and so forth. Okay, that is sitting nicely. So now we can pull this back gently and get some glue on that. Again, do your best to line it up with the very, very edge of the crust there and hold that in place. Okay, now we're going to go over to this section here. So just peel that back gently. Throw a little bit of glue right on the very edge. Just kind of smooth that out a bit and get that nice and lined up at the very edge. Press and hold. Okay. And then, now this one has to get glued here, so we need to first, I'm going to glue these sections first, get those out of the way. So we're going to peel this back and throw a tiny little bit of glue right at the end of this little crisscross thingy and get that in place. Make sure that it's right up against the back of this and just press and hold that down. Okay, and then we can actually glue this section down because it's really not affecting anything else here. So glue that down right up to the edge. Okay, and we've got this guy here. So I just need to pull that back gently. Throw a little bit of glue right on the very edge. You get the idea. There's probably another sequence of doing it where it'll work. I may have actually done it a little bit differently on my last one too. I don't remember. But as long as it works, that's all that matters. And this one here, that's fine. I think I might have messed up a weave on that, but you know what? Can't really tell. Okay, and we're just going to line that up with the back. And there we go. Okay, just holding that down for just a moment. Now that we have the little weave section done, you can put the actual pie crust, the back of it, right in back like that. Now I did ink this on both sides. You don't have to ink this section. It's going to be hidden because it's going to be glued like that, but I hit the top and then I hit the whole back. So let's get our glue on the entire back portion here, especially around the perimeter. Okay, and I'm going to spread that glue out to the very edges. I need a little more here. I think after some time, you kind of can figure out just by feeling the glue with your finger. You can kind of tell based on the consistency as far as whether or not you have enough glue on there. So I'm going to leave this flat on my table, and I'm going to use the bottom of the table to kind of guide me as far as the alignment on the bottom. And then visually, I'm checking the side alignment here, making sure that that's all nice and lined up. And then we can put that down on our surface and press down from inside. Again, if you have a dowel, that can help really get more pressure in a small little area. That really helps the glue get into all the little nooks and crannies. Okay, that looks really good. And there's our beautiful pie. And all that's left is the filling. So you can see on this one here. And you'll notice that on the side of this crust here, we have some little identifiers, some little markers to help you with a more precise alignment. Okay, and I'm going to connect these two using this little tab, just so that the front of the pie looks nice and seamless. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to join that to the other section here. Just make sure you get that aligned as accurately as you can. And I also obviously inked this. Used a little bit of purple on this blue because blue sometimes doesn't show up very well. We wanted to make it a little bit darker, so a nice purple worked there. Okay, and then once we have that together, we'll simply glue it to the pie here, and you'll notice that, well, you could technically put it on like this, but this way it won't match up with the little markers on here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. If you want to do it how we have it designed, you want to flip it this way, and this little bump here and this little bump here, you're going to scoot those up until they match up with the little identifiers there, the little markers. Okay, and there you have it. So it's going to look like that. And we're going to do that one section at a time. So I'm just going to get glue on one of these sections. We'll do one, and we can pull back the other side and do that one instead of trying to do all of this surface area all at once. We'll just do one at a time here. Make sure you get a little bit of glue right in the center there. Okay, let me make sure I got this aligned correctly. I do. Okay. So push that up against the very tip of the pie as far as you can without damaging it. And let me just go ahead and press that into place all the way up and down. Okay. Now you can peel this back. And this shirt keeps slipping off my arm. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll just throw a little bit of glue and the rest of the filling. It wasn't the crust, it was the filling. I think I called it the crust. My bad. And we'll pop that right into place. That should pretty much automatically fall into place. If it's a smidge off of where that little marker is, I wouldn't worry about it too much. There we go. And there's our pie. Okay, now of course we're going to need to put a little dollop of whipped cream on top of that. That's optional. I'm going to show you how that works. Okay, so that should slide onto the bottom nice and easy, just like that. And there's our blueberry pie next to our cherry pie. Isn't that wonderful? And you can see how I've got the little dollop of whipped cream there. I'm going to show you how that goes together. It's just a series of these little pieces here, and I've gone ahead and inked them with a little bit of turquoise. You want to just go ahead and fold those in half with the actual, if you're using AC cardstock, you want the texture side inside, the smooth side outside. We're going to glue these back to back to back to back to back until we have what kind of resembles a dimensional dollop of whipped cream. Instead of trying to create a fully 3D piece of whipped cream, this just seemed more practical. You don't want to sit there for 20 minutes just to put a little embellishment on a pie. Okay, so I just put glue on one half of this, and I'm going to take another one and just put it back to back onto the piece that I just put the glue on. You can actually unfold it and press it flat. You can use your table if you want, but that's kind of what you're looking for. Okay, and then we'll fold this back again and throw a little bit of glue on this next section and grab another one and just put that back to back and just squeeze that down into place. Okay, so when you open it up now, that's what you get. So I'm going to keep it folded like that. Apply glue. Definitely want to try to get it all the way up to the tip of this element. Grab the next piece, line it up and press. There we go. Should go pretty quick. Do your best to get that aligned as accurately as you can. It's a lot of layers kind of sitting on top of each other, so don't get frustrated if for some reason it's starting to maybe not line up perfectly. It's still going to look good. Okay, putting that next piece right on there so you can see what we're going to end up with here in a second. So keeping it flat again, folded, put glue on the inside of the next section, grab this piece here, line it up all the way to the top as well. Make sure it's nice and flush. Here we go. And just squeeze that together. Now, to close it up, you're just going to take glue and put it on this guy here and connect these two together. Now I'm going to, before I do that, I'm actually going to sprinkle a little bit of glitter on this. I'm going to put some glue on it and just sprinkle some glitter on it just to make it bling out a little bit more. But then ultimately what you can do is just put a little bit of hot glue or just some regular glue and glue that to the top of your pie. And you've got yourself a beautiful little pie box. You can put a little gift inside, some treats. Could probably fit a piece of pie in there. I would obviously maybe wrap it in something so that you know, the oils and the butters don't soak into the actual paper. But that's it. Pretty quick, easy, but very versatile. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the process. If you did, take a moment and visit our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button while you're there. Also hit the little bell that will give you notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be a freebie, a paid product, or any of our informative or tutorial videos. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the almost 21,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So head on over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this URL here directly into your web browser. It'll take you right there. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to crafting with you again.